What is happening? Steeler Nation, what is going on? What's going on? Like Bernie Mac used to say. What's going on? What's happening, Steeler Nation, man? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement, aka the virtual shore, as you see behind me. A little bit of a different show tonight, man. I told you guys last night, for you guys who caught the makeshift post-game show, I didn't do a official post-game reaction show last night because, for you guys who didn't hear it, man, it was just too late. I had to commute into DC today. I have to commute to DC tomorrow. So, a brother is hurting on his sleep, right? So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to take this night to be the post-game, the real post-game reaction show, where I will go through all of the drives and all that like I normally do all of that. Then I'll come to the chat with you guys for a little while. Not going to have phone calls tonight, obviously, because it's just going to take way too much time. I do apologize for that, guys, but I just think it makes the most sense. A late Monday night game, an early Tuesday morning for myself, and here comes an early Wednesday morning. I'm sure you guys can bear with me for just this 1 week, right? All right, so let's get right to it, man. I'm going to cut my timer on to make sure I do not exceed time. But hello. Let's say hello to the early commenters like we always do. We're going to say what's up to Carolina Larry, Drama Site Dale, Zuri Rivers. I got to ask. No, never mind. I already remember because you already said what's up, Unc. So I already remember it's you that when you call sometimes you say the same thing. So what's up to Zuri? I hope I'm saying that correct. Mr. Winningham, how you doing tonight, sir? How you doing tonight, Mr. Winningham? Appreciate you coming through like always. James Tresvant, Joshua Shields. Who else is up in here? Hello, Lanisha. Miss Lanisha in the building, guys. Make sure y'all say hello to Lanisha and all of the lovely ladies that are listening. Y'all know we take care of the ladies. Be gracious and humble to the ladies. So make sure you give her a welcome and a well-deserved hello. The Arch Steeler. Who else? Mark Malone. What's going on, Mark Malone? Amon Bozeman, Brian Williams, Rajon 39, Steelers Card, BQ412, the infamous Tim, my man Y Diggy in the building. And I think we'll end it right about there. Well, there's a couple more. Dr. Trey 88, Lance Watson, and Three Wings Mumbo on the side. That's got to be a DC guy right there. He says, yo, you and Smitty not streaming no more? Yeah, me and Smitty haven't really gone anywhere. You haven't seen us in quite some time, man. Honestly, I've had so much going on Thursday nights. Probably got another Thursday this week where it's been crazy. We're dealing with the house stuff. It's so much going on, and I haven't been available. I kind of mentioned that to Smitty, but we're gonna see if we can get back at it pretty soon, man. It has not ended. That's still my guy. We still, do our thing as far as that's my boy and all of that. But yeah, we haven't done that show in a while, man, just because my time has just been very taxing, man. So yeah. But let's get into it, man. Hello, father-in-law Leonard in the building as well. All right, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it, and I'm gonna just let you guys know. I'm gonna warn you guys at the end of the show. I'm trying to keep a straight face here and all of that, but I have unfortunately another, rest in peace moment. Another, one of those moment of silence, and I'll do it at the end of the show. I don't want to get into that right now, but let's get into it. Where are my notes? Do I have my notes up? I do. So y'all know what we always do. We always jump right into the first offensive drive, the first defensive series. We normally talk about the inactives, and it doesn't matter at this point now that the game is over. And it really usually doesn't matter too much anyway when I talk about the inactives, but I don't think any of the inactives had an effect on the game this week. As far as guys not playing, we all obviously know Boswell didn't play, and Matthew Wright is coming through in the clutch, even though he kissed one off of the upright. He's hitting his field goals, if you will. And there you have it. And I'll also talk a little bit. Well, actually, let me do that now. Let me talk a little bit about the injuries now, because I don't have a whole lot either from Tomlin. Didn't give me a whole lot to talk about today when I watched this conference. I watched it about an hour or two ago. Wasn't really a whole lot there, but he did highlight some, bumps and bruises type of injuries that we should keep our eyes on to see what happens throughout the rest of the week. So let's get into that. We know Najee Harris. I wrote here as the game happened. He was banged up a few times in the game. I said, went to the locker room early before halftime, was ruled out for the game. So I then added on to that later today. Now we know he's dealing with an abdomen issue of some sorts. Mike Tomlin said he didn't have any additional information on it further than what he provided last night. So something you got to keep your eyes on. But he did enlighten us to a couple other guys. Again, he likes to classify these things as bumps and bruises, but we shall see. Hold on. Y'all know I got to interrupt myself because we have a donation. Round of applause to the infamous Tim. Appreciate the donation. Yeah. Yep. Once again, Matt Canada. A tight end screen to Zach Gentry. Again, we saw it again. Y'all know how I feel, the way I stand when it comes to Matt Canada. And I'm going to get into Matt Canada too in this, because I don't have much to beat him up about tonight, but, it's the normal stuff that frustrates me with this guy. But I appreciate the donation and I appreciate you bringing that up. So the injuries. He told us Minkah Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, Larry Ogunjobi, and Miles Jack all being evaluated. Now, Tomlin did put the slant on it, saying that it's probably more minor than serious. It's things that you'll keep an eye on. The participation will be the guide, and you may slow their participation down early portions of the week. The normal stuff that he normally says. And usually when it's a little more significant, he has more to say. But again, it's worth keeping your eyes on, especially a guy like TJ Watt, because he did not go into what these things were, unless some of you guys heard it. I didn't catch that today. He didn't go into what these guys were being evaluated for, and I heard some of the reporters were saying, I know Missy Matthews said that Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Tomlin said it too, he wasn't available for reporters post game. So, you know what I mean? Keep an eye on that just to see. Those are all four significant contributors to the Steelers defense. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's talk really quick about penalties, man. Get that out the way. Dan Moore's called for holding on the very first drive of the game. I don't even think I need to call Dan Moore into the office. We did that a week or two ago. And listen, Dan Moore did scrap back later in the game. He got himself back into a rhythm a little bit, had somewhat of a better outing. But Dan Moore, again, I said it last week, and I don't need to beat the dead horse, man. Right now, Dan Moore is just not a super solid left tackle. I'm going to be fair, though, and say, you know what? I don't want to become a highlight watcher when it comes to the offensive line, because I'm going to be honest. You don't watch the offensive line as much. I watched them when I watched the All-22, and in this case, I probably won't get to 22 now until probably Wednesday, since the game was yesterday. So I'm going to reserve my entire judgment of him, because y'all know I do it on a week-to-week basis. Last week, I really got into him. But as I watch the film each week, I want to really start looking at every single snap and see where he was just bad, or where he just got beat, where he lacks technique, things like that. But, we all know right now, he's just not a significant guy, as far as being somebody you can count on. But we'll see. It's still early in this dude's career, man. We'll see. Luis D, round of applause. I believe I gave it to you already. If I didn't, let's do it now. Appreciate the donation. He says, do you attribute TJ's slow start not being completely healed? It's possible. It's possible, man. You know, maybe he came back faster than normal. You know, how much was he able to fully work out when he had the pectoral tear? All of that is plausible. I see Gavin Carr says, I seen him limping. Yeah, talk about TJ. I think I do recall seeing that too, had like a slight limp late in the game, right? So, I don't know, man. We'll see what's going on there. Hopefully it's not anything significant. Steelers card says Dan Moore is a backup on every other NFL team. Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Lydell says, you mean 65. Yeah, I might have to just call him 65 at this point, man. I just might have to call him 65 at this point. So, yeah. I see another special lovely lady of the chat. Hello, Debbie. Debbie and Lanisha both commenting right there, talking to one another. So make sure you guys say hello to Debbie and Lanisha and any other of the lovely ladies of the chat, man, that I may have missed. So let's get back on script, man. Let's get back on script. So Dan Moore has his holding on the first drive of the game. And see, stuff like that. It's like, it's not so much that, we get on Dan Moore about his play, which we do, but also how many times have we come in here and talked about his penalties? In the first drive, man, and we were driving the ball pretty well on that drive. But anyway, Cam Sutton jumps off sides on a 4th and 2 in the third quarter. Minka Fitzpatrick was called for pass interference in the end zone. We got to call that out. Daniels called for holding in the fourth quarter. James Daniels, that is. And Levi Wallace was called for pass interference as well late in that game. So those are the penalties that I remember that I noted down during the game. I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not a statistician or nothing like that. And I don't even know if I said that word right. Is it statistician? Is that right? Did I say that right, guys? But anyway, I'm not one of those that, if I missed one here and there, forgive me. What am I supposed to do? All right, let's get into the drive. So the Steelers, if I remember correctly, yes, we did get the ball first because that second half kickoff return by the Colts we're going to talk about. First offensive series went just like this. Najee Harris gains 7 yards on first down. Nice start. Kenny Pickett hits Deontay Johnson for an 11-yard gain to pick up a first down. Great. Najee Harris gets 0 yards on that toss. We've been trying to run that toss. Here's the thing. It's not so much that I don't like some of the play calls that Canada puts out there. We all know the ones that we don't like. But I understand trying to get run a toss, try to get these guys on the move and block. But I want to see, can we run that with maybe a quicker guy? And that's not any knock or shade to Najee, but y'all know sometimes Najee, when you spring him out wide like that, when the design run is on the outside, he's not that guy that's as shifty or what have you, right? Najee is better when he's going up the middle or off tackle or something like that, and he breaks to the outside, like the touchdown run that he had last week. And as much as I just said that he doesn't, do well going to the outside, and last week he actually did it, right? On that great touchdown run that he had, where he pressed it right outside, but he typically doesn't do well with like tosses. So if we're gonna run that, I would rather see, someone who hits it quick. If when Jaylen Warren is healthy, or you had Anthony McFarland healthy last night, maybe run those and reserve those plays for those type of backs. I'm just saying. So anyway, 0 yards. Kenny Pickett then finds Deontay Johnson for another 11 yards, another first down. And I wrote here, Deontay Johnson, beat Stephon Gilmore on somewhat of a stop route or comeback, whatever you want to call it. But he's able to get a first down there. Najee Harris picks up another 7 yards on a first down. First down is then picked up with the check down to Steven Sims. We did a handoff to McFarland, and that was the play that, of course, Dan Moore's called for holding. And on 1st and 20, Pickett is able to pick up 8 yards on a nice scramble. Then Kenny comes right back and he hits Fryer-Muth for a 10-yard gain to bring up a 3rd and 2. But then Kenny throws the ball high to Sims, and Sims was unable to maintain the catch. It was a good hit by the Moore kid for the Colts. and Steelers at that point have to settle for a field goal, 3-0. And to me, that drive was pretty good. The killer of that drive perhaps was Dan Moore, backing them up to a 1st and 20. But I liked what I saw out of the most part. If you just take what happened in the chunk plays that we were getting, 2 passes for 11 yards apiece, a 10-yard pickup, Najee Harris with 2 runs on first down, as a matter of fact, for a pickup of 7. So these are the things I look at, guys, when I talk about how well the offense is performing. It's not always, did they score or not? It's not that easy. It's not that cut and dry. It's the NFL. They're playing another professional team. You're not going to score every time out. But you want to just see the progression of the offense and say, they just missed that. Like, if they could have just got that. Good play by the defense. But, okay, let's come right back to. And I felt good about that drive. Got 3 out of the deal, but you felt good about that drive until that holding penalty. So here comes the defensive series. I wrote here, great coverage by Levi Wallace on first down. Almost led to a tip interception. James Pierre gets a pick on second down. James Pierre, I wrote here, starting on the outside on that particular series. And you guys have heard me say here, probably as recent as last week, I want to see more opportunities where we have Cam Sutton in the slot. And I have to actually go back and see what the formation was. To be honest, I don't remember if we were in sub or base. But either way, James was playing on the outside. And I text Kenyon and Tony right then and there. I said, man, have I not been calling for him on the outside? And maybe not so much because of his play, even though he's played relatively decent when he's been in there this year. But it's more so is to put Cam inside. I think that's probably the best pairing that we have when the pass is coming. Cam on the inside, Wallace on the outside, and whoever else is available, whether it is a James Pierre now or a Keller Witherspoon if he was healthy. But I don't want to live so much by the rotation of the slot, if you will, where Marlette is in there. Because again, Marlette has had his ups and downs. He actually has some great ups against the Saints, but it's not someone I consistently want to see in coverage. It's just my opinion. Hey, I'm not the coaches. It's just my opinion and what my preference would be. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's keep it moving. We get the ball back, so let's get to it now. Second drive, Pickett scrambles and picks up 9 on a 3rd and 5 to convert. Dan Moore gives up a sack on the very next play. And I did write Kenny might have held the ball a bit too long. I will, judge that again when I'm able to rewatch the game. Haven't been able to do that since the game was last night and I had to work today. Just being honest with y'all, I haven't rewatched it fully yet. But I did say Pickett sacked again on the very next play by Ngakoue. And he came free. And I wrote here that Dan Moore blocked down, and I wrote in bold, must have been a miscommunication, because I refuse to believe that Dan Moore just turned his back and just went this way and allowed this guy to rush clean off the edge. It had to be a miscommunication with protections or something. But even Troy Aikman or Joe Buck, one of them said probably the easiest sack that Ngakoue is ever going to have in his life, and it was. I mean, when you come unblocked, what do you expect? But that killed that drive. There you have it. Defensive possession. And y'all know I keep these notes very minimal. I just try to highlight the key things that happened. So there was a third down play that ended the drive. The defense did do a 3 and out, and they were able to produce a 3 and out. And Edmonds was the one who got in on the sack on that 3rd down to end the drive. So defense standing firm right there. On that very second possession of the Colts, you come away with an interception on the first one, and then on the second one, you pitch a 3 and out. Okay, defense, I see you. Third drive offensively. There was a draw play to Anthony McFarland for 14 yards. And I said it was a great call. It was one of those delayed draws. Great. You saw the hole open up so wide. Hats off to the offensive line, and I thought it was a great call at that moment. Kenny throws to the flat for a 2-yard loss trying to hit McFarland. And I wrote here he should have threw the slant behind him. I'm going to remember whenever I show that all-22 to you guys who are able to see it. I'm going to definitely look at that play and show you that I believe it was Deontay that was open right behind the flat. So Kenny still sometimes have a tendency, he still has a tendency sometimes to just go with the very first read and not always hang in there and read his full progression. Because on that play, he clearly should have threw behind that flat. But at the end of the day, the Steelers were faced with a 3rd and 12. Steelers unable to convert with only a 4-yard check down to Najee Harris, short of the sticks. Steelers selling for another field goal, 6-0. And that's the one where I wrote here, right, barely made it. And this was just a disappointing drive. Did we get points? Sure. Are you going to score every time you touch it? It's not realistic expectation. However, when you have a short field, I expect my offense, okay, to go get a touchdown. That's always going to be my expectation. You know, and I'm sure that's every team's expectations, especially teams who have high-powered offenses. I'm not saying we're that yet, but that's what you expect. You know, coaches talk all the time about field position. And you know, it's a field position game, and you can't have a better field position than that. You got to come away with the touchdown in that scenario. We did not. We had to settle for 3. At that point, 6-0. Defensively, the Steelers get off the field with another 3 and out. Cam Sutton, I wrote here, he missed that sack on the play, but he did force Ryan out of the pocket. Ryan threw it basically, you know, short or threw it away or whatever. But again, Cam Sutton was what forced him out of the pocket. But more importantly, the Steelers defense, back-to-back 3 and outs, get him out there. 4th offensive drive, George Pickens with another circus catch downfield. Listen, man, this deserves a water break. George Pickens, man, to say that he was a steal is pointless at this point. You're starting to see exactly what it's always cool when a player plays like they were projected. You know, because I always say that, you know, people can be projected here, projected there. Some of those project well, some of those exceed expectations. Some of them don't pan out. That's just the life of the draft and athletes in general. But this dude has lived up to his projections. Most people were saying, had he not had the injury in his final season, had he not, he more than likely would have been the first receiver off the board. And I think we are seeing it time after time after time where this guy is just special. What a catch, man. And it's funny, he seems to make these catches look easy. Remember I told y'all how smooth he looks when he catches? It never looks like it's extra effort. It never looks like it's uncontrolled. It's like he just, you know, spins around. I mean, this dude is effortless, man. Effortless. And just a beautiful thing. All right, so then the Steelers run the ball well on the rest of the drive I wrote here, and Najee Harris was able to finish the drive with a hard, tough run. And I thought that was a real solid 6-7 yards, whatever that was. Najee stretches the ball over the pylon, man. Outstanding. I mean, over the goal line. Outstanding drive right there. A great mix of pass, run, and actually it was lopsided because I wrote here other notes. Great block on that play by Dan Moore, as well as Freiermuth. You know, we're kind of doing that zone, that split zone, you know, action where you have a guy coming from this side and he comes to the backside. But then Dan Moore with a tremendous block on that play to spring Najee, and then Najee does the rest. But check this out. Steelers ran the ball 8 times on that drive. That's what I'm talking about. Run game started to come around a little bit. Whoa. I just saw a nice comment here. Shout outs to Retro Gamer. I tell you, man, you guys are so like in the moment. Y'all react so in the moment. And Retro Gamer, if you've been saying this, forgive me, but he says Harris is trash, Snell is better. It's funny because I've watched people in the chat, and I'm not saying that you were one of them, but y'all got to understand when I do this type of thing and I do this show, and like I told y'all, I have somewhat of a photographic memory and I remember a lot of stuff. It's funny because it's so many countless like shots at Benny Snell and oh, they should cut him. Oh, he sucks. Oh, why is he still on the team? That's why I got him in the thumbnail. Y'all know anytime I put somebody in the thumbnails for a reason. But now all of a sudden you get comments. And again, I'm not saying retro gamers flip-flopped or nothing like that. I'm just saying now all of a sudden you get comments from a viewer or fan saying, oh, well, Snell is this X many times better than Najee. Like, and like my man D-Mac just said, nobody considers clearly Najee Harris has not been himself since training camp, since the injury. He has not been Najee. Najee has started to run the ball better these last 2 weeks, but now he got hurt again. So it's y'all just in the moment. Y'all are just in the moment sometimes, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how people can say Najee's trash. If you don't like him, cool, but I don't know, but I appreciate the comment, man. I know I said before, no calls tonight, man, because I'm basically doing my post game recap, and man, you know, I can't have a super long show tonight, having to get up and commute tomorrow, man. So phone calls will be back next week for sure. But all right, let me keep it moving, man, because I want to spend as much time as I can in the chat, being as that I'm not actually doing the calls. Let's keep it moving. We score on that drive. So then defensively, the Colts put together a decent drive, but the Steelers able to get off the field on a 3rd and 4. And, you know, good pressure by Malik Reed on that particular play. The Colts have to settle for a field goal. Excuse me. At that point, it's 13-3. 5th offensive drive. The Steelers start the drive with a running back screen to Anthony McFarland for 13 yards. Benny Snell then rips off a 17-yard run shortly after that. Then the Steelers get into a goal-to-go situation after a very solid drive. What I wrote here. And again, the way I read this is exactly how I'm typing it out during the game. And then Kenny overthrows George Pickens in the back of the end zone. Man, excellent, beautiful route by George Pickens. And it's just a little bit too much on it. Those are the things, man. Those are the growing pains. You know, Kenny will get better at that. I think Kenny's accuracy even started improving a little bit in this game. Later on in the game, some of those throws he was making. So let's not forget that. But that one, he missed it just a bit. But man, that would have been awesome, man, to get a touchdown right there. Because again, outstanding route by George Pickens. And then if Kenny could have just finished that drive with that touchdown, we'll be talking again about another phenomenal drive instead of having to settle for just 3. Still was a good drive, but if you score right there, you know, I feel like it's the knockout blow, if you will. You know, that could have really put some pressure. The difference that 4 points makes is huge. You know, if at that point we go up, you know, and it's 20-3, it's a different feeling. But then the Steelers also were able to block a field goal. Shout outs to Loudermilk. The Colts were able to do just enough, getting back into a range where they could kick a long field goal, but we were able to block the attempt. And I'm going to talk to you in a minute why they were able to get in range for a field goal. So the second half starts, and this is exactly what I'm getting ready to talk about. The Steelers give up an 89-yard return. The dude returned, I think they said he was 8 yards deep. 89 yards. And man, thank God for the hustle of guys like Connor Haywood. Shout outs to Connor Haywood, who was hustling from behind, able to tackle him. And I can't remember who else was chasing, but I just remember that Connor Haywood was the guy who tripped him up when he was trying to cut back inside. But you just can't do that, man. And now they're starting from like the 19-yard line. It's like, dog, cannot do that. And the kick coverage team, matter of fact, first office visit of the night. I told y'all I had a couple of them tonight. Can I have the entire kickoff coverage team just come into the office really quick? Come on, fellas. Pack in. I know it's not the biggest office in the world, but y'all shouldn't even be worrying about that right now. Come pack yourselves in here. Okay, fellas, it's like this. I know you had a couple significant guys to the team that were not out there. One being Miles Boykin. He's been an excellent gunner all year. On the outsides, on the kickoff, and on punt. And yeah, that might have had something to do with it. Robert Spillane has also been a very good contributor on special teams. But let me tell you something. It's 9 more of y'all. And then y'all had 2 more of your buddies to compensate. There's no reason in the world and no excuse why y'all allowed so much kick return yardage. I didn't even look at it. I just know it was a lot. Because even when that big kick return of 89 yards didn't happen, the other kid, Moore, was looks like he was averaging 30 plus yards on every time he returned it. So what's really going on here? You guys have to stay disciplined, stay in your lane, and go get that football. Cannot have stuff like this because you're putting the defense at a severe disadvantage. Y'all got to do better, man. There's no excuse for that. Go on, get out of here. Oh, James Pierre. Okay. Thank you to Art Steeler. Yeah, I couldn't remember who else was chasing. So shout outs to James Pierre on that as well. James Pierre had a good game, man. Michael Pittman got him. Down in the end zone, he was kind of playing that inside coverage. He goes to the outside. Matt Ryan puts it in a nice spot. His back is turned. It happens, guys. Everybody gets beat. There's really no cornerbacks that never get beat. But overall, James Pierre had a solid game. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. They finished that drive with a touchdown like they were supposed to. And at that point, it's 16-10. Sixth offensive drive. Steelers get into a 3rd and 1. Trying to run the ball straight up the middle. And it gets stuck. And I wrote here, I think Kenny called that play himself. Because, shout outs to father-in-law Leonard. But he texted me and he said, man, horrible play calling. Oh, no, I think it might have been Tony who texted that. So he didn't like the play call. And I was like, nah, I think Kenny called that one. Because if you guys remember, we had picked up like 9 yards or so right before that on the 2nd down or something. We rush up to the line. We didn't huddle. Kenny got him going fast, handed the ball off. Yeah, because I actually notated that. I said we didn't huddle, and it came after a 9-yard pickup by McFarland. So he was thinking, boom, go quick. We'll get 1 yard. We did not. So I can't blame Canada for that one. That was one of those hurry. And you could clearly see that was a call by Kenny Pickett. And he has the autonomy to do that, I'm sure. Let's just go get a yard. But it got stuffed. So guess what? I wrote here, Steelers go 3 and out. You cannot go 3 and out after giving up an 89-yard return and a touchdown. But yeah, in typical fashion that we've seen too much and too often this season, our offense went 3 and out. Let's continue. Good punt by Presley Harvin to back the Colts up to the 12-yard line. The Steelers were facing a 3rd and 7 after the Colts were able to drive down the field. On the Steelers 19, the Steelers stopped the Colts 2 yards short, but the Colts then settled for a field goal. But guess what? Cam Sutton jumps offside. So then I wrote here, Steelers facing a 3rd and goal from the 6. Minka gets called for a pass interference in the end zone. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, all right, man, they're going to score. Here we go. But guess what happens? Miscommunication of some sort between Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor. And on that very next play, Jonathan Taylor coughs it up, and it is recovered by Chris Wormley. How did Chris Wormley get the ball? I have no idea. It clearly looked like Matt Ryan was going to get it. He did not. And there you have it. Steelers get the ball right back. And y'all want to know what I wrote for the 7th offensive drive? My wording exactly. I said, guess what? Steelers go 3 and out. Typical. That's what we've been seeing, right? This is so typical of this offense this year. Back-to-back 3 and outs. Back-to-back. Okay. So then what happens? Steelers give up a 3rd and 6 for a 28-yard gain. Colts are back into another goal-to-go situation. And then this is when Pierre gets beat by My man, I just said it. Michael Pittman Jr. for the touchdown. And yeah, now the Colts, I believe, are ahead, if I'm not mistaken. So what happens after that? Steelers put together one outstanding drive. They convert a 3rd and long with a strike to Pickens across the middle of the field, deep down the middle of the field. It was kind of, looks like it probably was a dig or some type of in-cut, in-breaking route. I wrote here it was a great catch and a great throw. Benny Snell rips off another big run for 10 yards. I wrote here Canada once again pulls out that Zach Gentry tight end screen and we get pretty much nothing. DJ, I wrote here, and let me just get him real quick. This is a very quick office visit, and then there's no more the rest of the night. Deontay Johnson, please, come on in the office. Man, listen, Deontay, really quick. We talked about this a week or two ago, I think 2 weeks ago. Why do you keep running backwards? Man, get the first down, man. Get the first down. It's like the first down, we all can see it. It's right there. North and south. I mean, you learn this in Pop Warner, dog. Little league. Every level of football, there had to be a coach that told you and any other offensive player that carries the ball, north and south. East and west should be optional when you're making a move or something like that. You do not run backwards. You run north. That way. Can you please stop doing that? It didn't cost us in this game because we finished this drive very well, but it could have. Get the first down, stop playing, man. God. See that, guys? He brought a sneeze on. This dude gets under my collar, man. But I love Deontay Johnson, but he got to stop doing that stupid stuff, man. It's like, stop trying to be the highlight reel. Just get the first down. Here's the funny thing, though. I did not realize that Deontay Johnson has not caught a touchdown this season. I'm not going to put that on Deontay Johnson, except for maybe in this game. I'll tell you in a moment. But let's keep it moving. Deontay Johnson runs backwards and doesn't pick up the first down in the fourth quarter. And then I wrote here, the Steelers convert with the throw to Freiermuth. Great throw. Great throw by Kenny Pickett. Put that ball right where it needed to be, where only Freiermuth was going to get it. And we convert. So what happens after that? Deontay Johnson drops the fade on 2nd and goal. Now, was it good coverage? Yes. Did the defender's hand or arm ever hit the ball? No, not really. Deontay got both hands on it. You got to bring those in. This is the NFL. Dropped that touchdown. That could have been his first touchdown of the season, and he dropped it. Then the Steelers were facing a 3rd and goal. Steelers are able to score with a surprising run to Benny Snell. You know what? I might have to give Matt Canada credit for that. However, I'm hearing, and I want to say Mason Cole said it, that Kenny Pickett made that call. If that is the case, if Kenny Pickett made that call, excellent call, because the slot defender was giving up so much space. I'm sure everybody was expecting a pass, called the run, and Benny Snell went into the end zone untouched. Great stuff. But all in all, that drive, man, they put together a 75-yard touchdown drive. Great job, offense. The offense showed some signs today. Well, yesterday. Showed a little bit of signs of life. Then right after that, the Steelers deliver a 3-and-out on defense. 9th offensive drive. Daniels is called for holding, backs the Steelers up to 3rd and 13, and the Steelers throw a short of the sticks, and they're forced to punt. So, I'll tell you about the next drive right after I give credit and shout outs to Derek Moore. I appreciate the donation. Thank you for that donation, my brother. I really, really appreciate that. So, all right. Then on defense, Steelers give up a 28-yard completion to that boy Michael Pittman, man, showing his strength, strong hands. How he came down with that ball in the middle of the field, I have no idea, but that's why he's Michael Pittman. That's the reason why myself and Kenyon, especially watching him in his SC days, loved Michael Pittman coming out. And you know, Michael Pittman has been as advertised, in my opinion. The boy's playing good football. Colts was on their own 7-yard line, man, and you just cannot give up a 28-yard strike like that. Then, Wallace was called for PI anyway, but still. So then I wrote here, Steelers are able to end the game on a second, 4th, and 3. The way I wrote this, I just messed my own eyes up. I said they were able to get out the game and end the game with the 2nd, 4th, and 3 of that final drive. Because you remember, we got them in 4th and 3 a little earlier. They converted. Then on this 4th and 3, we were able to get off the field, which was, good defense by Minka and, Sutton. Could PI have been called? Perhaps. Perhaps. But, it's football. We had bad calls go against us as well, so it is what it is. But outside of that, man, that's pretty much the game. I think I have all of the drives there. If I missed one again, I'm sorry. I'm just not, this is not my profession as far as keeping statistics. I try my best. But that was an outstanding game, man. Here are my takeaways really quick, and then I'll come right to the chat. Pickett is getting more comfortable, but he's still throwing a little bit to that first read from time to time. He's still, from time to time, throwing to the first read, and I know he's going to continue to get better at that, because as much as I say that, I also saw moments in this game where he was going through his progressions, hanging in the pocket, and sometimes the first read is the right read if they're open, getting the ball out quick. But there's some times where I feel like he's a little too fast, like he pulls the trigger a little too fast in the check down sometimes, or the flats sometimes, and when there's other progressions behind it. But he'll continue to get better at that. Round of applause for Luis D, another donation. Appreciate it. Yep. He said Kenny got advice to call his own play from Big Ben. I wouldn't be surprised, man. Would not be surprised. And Ben has been, I don't know if you guys have been checking it out, man, but Ben has been really in his corner, really supporting Pickett and saying he thinks Pickett is going to be a good player. So it's just very interesting to just hear comments like that from the ex-quarterback. I don't think he's blowing smoke. But I did say that, Kenny Pickett is showing a nice balance of knowing when to use his legs, and it has helped us. And that's something that we haven't had in a super long time. So, again, I think Kenny did better with picking his spots when to run last night. And I think he's starting to get comfortable, man. And there's times where he's commanding the offense, man. And I like it. I like what I'm seeing out of him. And again, I know some of y'all don't like him, but okay. We have opposing opinions. I think Kenny Pickett has the opportunity to be a very good quarterback for this team. What his ceiling is, I don't know. But I see something in him. He's a competitor. He's a baller. He seems to be progressing. Give him time. That's all I ask. Give the kid time, man. See that. Oh, I forgot about my man Big Noriega. Hey, I told you, I am not having no debate with you anymore about certain things. You don't like Pickett, fine. I see progression in him. Okay, everybody wants to harp on the touchdown and interception ratio. Again, there's many examples out there of elite quarterbacks, guys who became elite, who had horrendous rookie seasons. I'm just judging him on a different scale than most. I don't expect Kenny Pickett to come in there and be God-like right away. Everyone doesn't strike lightning in the bottle like that. I'm giving this dude the adequate amount of time to progress. That is me. I know Noriega has a different opinion. That is fine. But we don't have to battle that every week. That's just how I feel. Let's see. What else did I write here? Canada mixing in quarterback draws too. Design QB draws. I recall at least 2 occasions we ran those last night. Levi Wallace is playing a solid football right now. I stick to that as well. Levi is playing pretty solid at corner, man. And I didn't know exactly what he was going to be for us in the beginning of the year because I know they're saying he's not the fastest guy. But Levi Wallace has played relatively well. Relatively well. You know, relatively well. You know, he's giving up some plays, yes, but he's starting to be pretty solid for us. My opinion. Steelers running the ball very well in the first half, and obviously that turned out to be the case, you know, the entire game. I also wrote here the Steelers kick coverage game, poor at best, and we all saw that. I love the fact that the Steelers held Matt Ryan to 36 yards passing in the first half. I do not like our defense having that dull moment in the third quarter. That third quarter was rocky for us. And that number 80, I cannot remember his last name. I just remember his name was Jalon something. That kid was eating. We were having a real tough time in coverage with the tight end. He was killing us. And I cannot wait to watch the film to see if it was more zone or man and who he was killing. But man, Matt Ryan's favorite target was number 80. And then every now and then he would find Michael Pittman. But my God, Woods, okay, Jelon Woods, the boy was killing us. Killing us. Yeah, we got to do better than that. I definitely agree here with Charlie Brown. He says also you have to acknowledge the run game picking up is helping Pickett. Yeah, and this is what we've been saying all year. Remember we were saying this when the season started. In order for this offense to go, the running game is going to have to help Kenny Pickett out. And there you have it. See, everybody doesn't take all of those things into account when they judge these quarterbacks and how good or bad they are. Look how much Pickett has been throwing the football early on in the season. So it's a myriad of things, man, that, you know, contribute to that. Round of applause to Kev So Fun. Appreciate the donation. He says, Kenny has the swagger as a QB. He does, man. And I don't care. Maybe y'all don't agree. That means something to me. That means something to me for a dude to have that edge like that and be able to play. Kenny's going to be fine. That's just my opinion. I've talked a lot, guys. We already down to only about 13 minutes left. But we'll get to it. And the very last thing I got, and then I'm coming to the chat. Benny Snell. Benny Snell. Man, Benny Snell, here you go. Benny Snell carried that mail last night. You hear me? Benny Snell carried that mail. The boy was doing his thing. What I'm doing right now, I'm pulling up the stats. I want to see exactly how he finished. Give me a moment. Y'all might hear something here as I open up the new browser. There you go. Sorry about that. Let's see. Russian stats. Benny Snell had 12 carries for 62 yards, 1 touchdown, 5.2 average. McFarland, 6 carries for 30 yards. Najee, 10 for 35. They ran the ball well last night, man. And, you know, of course, Kenny Pickett had, you know, what he had in terms of his scrambles. They ran the ball very well, man. But my man, Benny Snell, did his thing. Anthony McFarland popped. You know, he had some explosive runs. Like that. Najee Harris was running hard until he got hurt. But I love the fact that these last 2 weeks, the Steelers have been running the football. That's what I like to see, man, because that's what we're going to need as Kenny Pickett continues to develop and just even into the future. You're going to need, in today's NFL, you got to have an offense that is capable of running the football. And some people will say, no, today is a passing league, but this is my point. You want to be a team also that can run it and burn clock, use up clock, running games, travel in the playoffs. You understand what I'm saying? So very good to see that last night, man. Very, very good. But that's pretty much all I got, man. Again, I think it was another good performance by Kenny Pickett. I think he's starting to fall into his comfort a little bit, man, as far as, the moment isn't too big for him. Lights are not too big. He has poise. He has a little attitude to him. He's competitive. He's starting to play better. Again, and I'm not sitting here calling his ceiling. I don't know. I still have more to see. I just like the trajectory that I'm seeing out of him so far. And that's where I will leave it. Let me get this out the way too, guys. And then I'm going to come to the chat. Told y'all I had, more unfortunate stuff that I'm dealing with. Found out Sunday morning, man, a close friend of mine, childhood friend, and it's many of us, but, we were a pretty solid group because of the neighborhood we lived in. One of my guys, man, unfortunately was killed in a car accident Sunday morning, and we're all devastated by it, and it's funny because out of the huge pack of us, he's the youngest one, and we're all like, it's just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So, it's been a little rough time for me the last couple days, man. And we got to press on, but that was my guy. So I'm just gonna do a quick moment of silence for him, man. It's only right that I do that. So y'all bear with me. Quick moment of silence to my man Ty, man. Rest in peace. All right. Love you, boy. All right, man. What y'all got in the chat? Let me know what y'all got, man. And I appreciate all the condolences, man. I really appreciate it. Y'all know I don't do it for that. Y'all just know I'm just one of them. I tell y'all everything. We like family. What y'all got, man? I talked to one of my other buddies too today, man, and we said, today was better for us. And we all said, what we're going to do is, day 2 of hearing about it. Now we're just remembering the good times, so that's how you got to do it. You got to remember the good times, and the good moments and I encourage all of y'all to make sure y'all do that, man. Just enjoy your loved ones and don't take nothing for granted. You know what I mean? I really appreciate y'all doing that, man. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's a rough one. What's that in my eye? No, it's not tears. I've already got those out the way. Yeah, Johnny, and I know, I know you're probably still dealing with that, man. It's always tough. That's always tough, man. It's always tough. My grandma, God rest her soul, man. I lost my grandma in 2020 as well. And y'all know my mom passed later that year, but my grandma was 96, and she used to always tell me the worst thing about getting old is you see a lot of lost life. I was like, dang, she put it in perspective because, just the amount of people that we lost in the family, and she saw all of it, grandkids and kids. But, let's keep it moving, guys. Like I said, let's, we don't want to dwell too much on the sadness. let's just appreciate life and keep the positive memories. Mr. All Days Off says, Sim, how many games you think we will win remaining? Man, I'm gonna be honest. Let me see. Let me be realistic. Let's pull up the schedule, man. Let me see. The Steelers, man. Because y'all already know, man. Y'all know my thoughts and feelings about this season. I have no expectations. Hold on. Let me pull up the remaining schedule. I know we got the Falcons coming up. Got to be careful with them too, man. The Falcons are a pretty good running team, man. So, there were a few times when Jonathan Taylor was able to get off last night. So we ain't out of the, we're not out of the woods. We're not out of the woods when it comes to that. So who we got? Who we got remaining? We have the Atlanta Falcons. No disrespect to Atlanta, but I say, is it winnable? I think it's winnable. So let's say that's one game. We got the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Baltimore is looking a little suspect to me lately. And I don't know if my boy Dez is going to see this, but I think my man Dez would agree because he's a level-headed, realistic Ravens fan the same way I'm a level-headed, realistic Steelers fan. The Ravens don't look good to me, man. They're winning, but it's like these last 2 weeks, it seems, how people always say that about the Steelers? Oh, man, teams you're supposed to beat, you're supposed to blow. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Some of these teams that you expect that Ravens shouldn't have a problem with, they done had a problem with. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say that to say this. I think the Ravens probably have a better chance of beating us than we do beating them. I'm just being honest. But I could see a possible split. So let's just say a possible split. It's a divisional opponent. Let's say we split one. So I'll say let's give us that one because that's the one I think that's at home. So let's say we win the Falcons and the Ravens. All right. So now we up to what? 6 wins. Carolina Panthers. I feel like we should be able to win that game. Do I know for sure? I do not. I'm just saying. Okay. So now we up to 7 games. The Las Vegas Raiders. They don't look like a team that's not unbeatable either. So, and I'm not saying we're going to win any of these. I'm just saying if I just was looking at this schedule blindly. Falcons, one of the Ravens games. So let's just say the one on the 11th. Carolina, Vegas. So I will say that the the Steelers have the potential. I don't know if it'll happen. They have the potential to perhaps win the next 4 games. Again, the Ravens one is a toss-up. Atlanta Falcons is not a guarantee. None of these games are guaranteed. Let's make sure that disclaimer is out there. I don't guarantee none of these games. Our team is 4-7. We have not played great this season, so I don't guarantee any of these. I'm just saying, hypothetically, are these next 4 games possible wins? The way these teams have played, yes. The way the Falcons have played, the way the Ravens are playing, the way Carolina is playing, and the way Vegas is playing. They're winnable. The same way they could probably say that about us. So let's say the Steelers messed around and won those 4 games. That brings us to how many wins? 8 wins. Then I feel like we're probably going to lose the last 2. We'll probably lose the game against the Ravens, so let's just say that's the one we lose in Baltimore. And I just feel like, for whatever reason, we ain't been able to do nothing with Cleveland lately. We come close. So we'll mess around and lose that game too. So there you have it. Now we're talking about 8-9 at best. And if I'm being realistic, let's rewind that and get a little more realistic. Let's say the Ravens sweep us. And let's say maybe we win the Cleveland game. So now we're talking about Falcons, Panthers, Raiders, Browns. So let's say we only win 4 games. There you have it. There you have it. That's still 8 wins, right? All I did was kind of reversed it a little bit. So, again, I'll go out on a limb and say at best, they win 8 games. I don't see more than that. I don't see it in my mind right now, a 10-7. I don't. I don't even see a 9-8. I'm just being honest, guys. I remember I told y'all, I don't expect anything from this season. So, there you have it. So, that's my long-winded prediction. And yeah, and Deshaun Watson comes back. I mean, it's so very best 8 wins. I say very worst, the Steelers win 2 more games. All right. So at the very worst, the Steelers would be, what did that put us? 6-11. So very best, in my opinion, from where I sit today, is 8-9. Very worst, I say 6-11. Round of applause to Derek Moore. Appreciate that. Yes, I sure did. I sure did. The funny thing is, and much like a lot of you guys, I heard it in real time. But he says, did anyone hear on your surround sound when the defense hollered, they're running the same plays in the third quarter, heading to Atlanta for the annual family game? Let's go. No walk of shame. That's what's up. And it was funny, man. I was this close to possibly going to that game this weekend. You know, again, another one of my friends in our group. He lives in Atlanta, and you know, my man Jay does all kinds of stuff. I mean, this dude is all over everywhere. He MCs weddings, and he still does a little act. I mean, he just does everything. He's just super active. You know, at one time he was doing the MCing at the Falcon Stadium. You know, he might still do that. He just do so many things. But anyway, we were all the guys were going to get together and go to a game, and he was like, "Yo, let's do the Steelers Falcons." So that might have been in the cards for this weekend, but now we had a tragedy, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely heard that. And I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't know at the moment. I didn't know for certain that's what it was. I thought it came off. I'm gonna be honest with my initial thoughts, because I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon, because I've seen this get blown up since it's been put on Twitter. I'm going to be honest. My initial thoughts were, he was saying, dog, they running the same play and we not stopping it. That's how I took it. Let me explain to you why. You guys who've been Steelers fans for quite some time, y'all remember some years back when we went to Tennessee and Le'Veon Bell rushed for 206 yards. Do you guys remember the same soundbite came out during the game and he was like, it's the same play. It's the same play. Remember, we kept running that counter and that power, and Bell was killing them. And he was saying that from the perspective of, dog, I don't know why we can't stop it. They running down our throat and it's the same play. So honestly, that's how I took that, because that was a positive run play. If you remember, if you go find the clip, it was a positive run play. And that's when the guy from the coach said, it's the same play. So I took it like that. I didn't initially take it as a slight on Matt Canada. I'm just being honest. Like I said, I'm not going to pile on to everyone else's theory on social media. Not saying you guys, I'm just saying that's what they were trying to make it out to be. But that was my initial thought, was he was saying that in disgust. He won't say it. It'll be different if Jermaine Pratt was saying that last week, right? Totally two different situations. This was a play that gained yards when we were starting to run the football, and then you hear the guy say that. So that's how I viewed that. Walter Worthy says, Sim, that's it exactly. It was after we ran a 9 yards and they were ticked off because they couldn't stop it. See, and that's how I took it. So I'm just here to show you guys that I don't feed into narratives, Because even if you go look on Twitter and Facebook, look at how the article is written. The title, it's clickbaity. They're trying to put a narrative on it, which I get it, because the one article I saw, the dude said, if this isn't the last straw that broke the back of Matt Canada, I'm like, no, I get it, guys. A lot of us prefer more creativity and more efficiency out of an offensive coordinator. We all can agree with that. But at the same time, I ain't just building no narrative. I'm gonna keep it 100 at all times. And like I said, yeah, y'all know the things I don't like about Canada, but when the offense is clicking, nobody, you see what I'm saying? Them drives that we put together, I don't see anybody have that same disgust. So just, like I said, I think a combination has been Kenny Pickett's learning curve and Matt Canada's situational play calling. Do I think Matt Canada is bad every single time out? No. But I also think he gets complacent and he doesn't adjust much. He doesn't seem to do much adjustment in the game in the second half. But then there's times where I think it's an execution thing. Those two things can be married though, and that Matt Canada has to know when to do something else and then work back to another play that you might be able to execute. That's the beef I have with him. But it's not always him. It's not always him completely. I'll be the first to say that, and y'all know I've been critical to Matt Canada. So, Debbie says she saw that same one and she swiped left. All right, let me spend a little more time with y'all, man. Like I said, I apologize for not getting to the calls tonight, but here we are, man. It's already 9:08. I'll spend a few more moments here with you guys, and I'm going to run, man. Noriega said they both should have stayed at Pitt. Yeah, I respect your opinion. Yep, Steeler Girl. Hello, Steeler Girl. Make sure y'all say hello to another lovely lady in the chat, Steelers Girl. She says, Canada's halftime adjustments do stink. Yeah, they do. They do. It's like this dude falls in love with his plan, man. I mean, how many times is he going to run straight up the yin-yang on second and long? How many times, dog? Like, even if you run the ball, try a different type of run or something. How many times you going right into the teeth of the defense? Every time. And again, I get it. Sometimes you catch defenses off guard, like with that Benny Snell touchdown. But when you tried to do something 2-3 times in a row and it's snuffed out, all right, maybe we don't go to that. Maybe we come back to that on the next 3 series or something. But this dude, boy. What else y'all got? James said he doesn't make them. He don't, man. Why Diggy says they need to stay aggressive at the start of these second half. Yeah, man. Oh, I appreciate that, Leonard Green. He says Sim has been consistent. Facts. I appreciate it. I try, man. You know, there's no frills with me, man. There's no, there's no, like, get the love from the popular crowd type. That ain't my personality. I just try to just be me at all times. And some are going to like it, some are not. And I'm cool with that. Like, you never going to hear me switch up and that's why I think you can have comments like that where people will say, man, you always keep it, because I just try to just be me. I don't put on any fronts. I just give you my real gut feeling. Another lovely lady. Hello, Diane. Good to see you as well. Make sure you guys say hello to Diane. She says, what about Deontay route running wrong way? Do you think he knows it? Yeah, Diane, I got on him earlier in the show. I called him into the office. I just think, I just really think the dude is just trying to make a highlight play, man. And just, sometimes you just got to go north and south. Appreciate that, Big Noriega. See, this is what I'm saying. Me and Noriega go back and forth with differences of opinion, but it's all love. And that's how we all should be. None of this stuff should be no malice or vitriol against nobody else. We just fans, and I love that. I love that we can disagree on stuff, but we still cool. Because everybody has an opinion. That's why I try not to tolerate any disrespect and stuff in the chat, because it ain't about that. We just all just fans, man. We should be able to disagree and laugh at each other and keep it moving. Like, Noriega should be able to say, man, nah, see, I'm dumb for that one. I don't agree with that. And I should be able to say, that's a crazy opinion. And we still laugh it up. You know what I'm saying? So big shout outs to him for that. Kenya says the Jordan Addison stuff needs to stop. Who says something? Oh, okay, my man Virgin up there says, Sim, why don't you like the Jordan Addison? Just kidding. Y'all know my thing about that. Thank you, Angie. Appreciate that. I really appreciate it. And all of you guys, man, who've given me the condolences, man. We really, really appreciate you guys for that. Hey, Miss Odessa and Angie, make sure y'all say hello to the ladies, man. All of them jumping up in here tonight. Hey, man, I haven't seen Debbie and Lanisha, and I'll say Odessa, because y'all are more of the OG ladies that, we've conversed and stuff via email. Can y'all do me a favor, man? Maybe I'll do the same. But have you guys heard from Destiny? Have you guys heard from Destiny or Sade? I know we saw Sade not too long ago, but in today's world, I just like to check on people and make sure they're good, man. So maybe if y'all have talked to her offline, and if y'all have, please let me know. And if y'all, try to reach out to her. Yeah, I don't mind that we haven't seen her on the show. I'm just more concerned. Just, make sure she's good. What else, guys? I got a few more. Yeah, I try, man, because to me, it ain't about that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about that. To me, a donation is exactly what it is. It's you guys' free will and free wanting to. That's why y'all never hear me ask for it. And it's funny because people will hit me up and say, man, you need to start pressing the issue and make people don't. Like, nah, I want people to donate. I want them to donate out the kindness of their hearts. You know what I mean? Okay, great. Thank you, Lanisha. And just tell them I said hello. Tell them I said hello and was asking about them and my genuine concern. Like I said, it ain't about whether or not they're here or not. I ain't one of them. Where you been? You ain't watching my show? No. I'm more concerned just about their well-being. So I'm glad y'all let me know that they're cool. Okay, great. That's all that matters to me. Oh, yeah, she sure did. She sure did, Kenyon. Matter of fact, hold on. I think I sent Debbie the information that she was asking for, Kenyon. I'm pretty sure I did. And if you didn't get it, Debbie, let me know, because maybe it's in a draft or something. But yeah, just let me know. What else y'all got? Thank you for confirming that as well, Odessa. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear they're okay. And it's one of them things, I would see them so regularly, so it's just like if I didn't hear from Lanisha or Debbie or any of y'all, C. Antoine Hill, Y. Diggy, Brent, like if it's been a long time, I'm just going to be like, hey, everything good? Because it could be anything going on, not just the worst. It could be anything, personal stuff. That's just me, the heart. I'm always going to check on my people, I feel like y'all are my people. So, but all right, man, let me go ahead and get out of here, man. I got this long drive again tomorrow morning. I'll be so glad when that's over. I can relax the next few days. I'm actually off Thursday and Friday. So that is a plus. But all right, man, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. You know what I mean? I think we had a good show tonight. And there you have it. But yeah, Kenyon and Debbie. And Kenyon, you can text me, Debbie. Y'all let me know, Debbie, did you get that info? Because I swear I sent what you were asking for. If you did not, I will definitely get that to you right away. Because I remember, matter of fact, hold on, I can look right now. Why am I putting it on you? I can look at my sent emails. I'm almost sure I sent that. But if I didn't, I apologize. Maybe I didn't. Hold on. Maybe I didn't. But you know what? If I didn't, I'll just send it again. Because I definitely... Yeah, I sent it. I sent that info. So maybe Kenya was just asking. Kenya might have just been, okay, yeah, Debbie just said it. Send me the information I didn't reach. Oh, okay. Case off. Case off. But all right, man, I'm going to get out of here, man. Love y'all like always, man. Appreciate y'all helping to lift me up, man, in this hurtful time that I'm going through, man, with my man, my homeboy. And yeah, thank you, Odessa. Really appreciate it. Let's give you a round of applause. I appreciate your donation there. Alicia and Odessa is known for that, man. I like to call them the sniper donators. They do it in silent. They don't have to come here on YouTube. So love y'all for that, man. I really appreciate y'all. But all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Y'all know the routine. For anybody who's new tonight, welcome first and foremost. But why don't you consider doing these 3 things? Consider hitting that like button. Consider subscribing. And after that, cut on the notification bell so you know when videos are up and running. And what I need you guys to do is make sure y'all have a great rest of the week. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. Like always, thoroughly appreciate you guys tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you in the next one. Peace.